Bonjour mes amis! Welcome back to another episode of Earth to Rocco. Today we're going to make a vegan version of the classic French onion soup. French onion soup gets its name from the country of origin, which is, guess?
Japan.
France. This dish debuted in France in the 1800s when onions were plentiful and cheap. It makes for a hearty dish that's also really good. On top of these few ingredients, I'll also be adding my homemade mozzarella, which I made in last week's episode.
Why did Trump ban shredded cheese?
Why?
Because he wants to make America great again. Get it? Grate the cheese.
Without further ado, let's get started. I'm starting with a deep pot and I'm gonna turn on the heat to medium-high. I'm gonna add in some plant-based butter, but you could also use olive oil. I'm using 4 large sweet onions. This is enough to serve 4 people. I sliced the onions to about a 1/4 inch thickness. Now that the butter is slightly melted, I'm gonna add them in. We'll add in a little bit of sugar. I'm gonna cook this down until the onions are soft and slightly caramelized, and this should take about 30 minutes. Our onions have now softened quite significantly and they're a little bit caramelized. So next we're gonna add in some garlic and some ground thyme. Just give that a stir and we're gonna let it cook for about a minute. The next ingredient I'm adding is some red wine. Be careful when choosing your red wine because a lot of red wines use animal products in the fermentation process, making them not vegan. The wine I chose today is vegan. So I'm gonna reduce the heat now to medium and I'm gonna wait for the alcohol smell to dissipate from the wine. This should take about 10 minutes. Now we're ready to add some flour. This is gonna help to thicken up the soup. Just make sure to stir it constantly so the flour doesn't burn. We'll cook this for about a minute. Now we can add in a full carton of vegetable broth. Some salt, and 2 bay leaves. So we're just gonna wait for this to start bubbling. Now that it's bubbling, we'll reduce the heat a little bit to let it simmer. So now I'm just gonna cover it and let it go for about 15 to 20 minutes, coming back to stir it occasionally. Now our soup is done, so we'll remove the bay leaves. Now let me show you how to serve this. I'm gonna start with 2 pieces of toasted baguette bread. So I'm just placing those in the bottom of the bowl. Now I'm gonna put the soup on top. I'm gonna take some of the homemade mozzarella I made in last week's video and put a slice on top. I'm gonna place this on a tray and put it in the oven on broil until the cheese is golden brown.
Besides originating in France, why do they call it French onion soup? And use the word French? Because you eat it with your mouth open. Get it? French soup.
Because
Oh. Ooh la la, that is some good soup. The soup is super flavorful, and with the bread and that melty cheese, it's perfect. Merci beaucoup for joining me in creating this delicious French onion soup. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with my latest vegan recipes. Head on over to earthchurrasco.com for the ingredients and instructions for today's French onion soup and more. Salut, mes amis!